Wilma Fingerdoo with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race UK Season 5, Episode 2. But before we get to it, I need to thank this week's tipperdoos. Pauline Moriarty, hey Pauline. Erin in Ottawa, my illegitimate drag daughter's hometown. Hey Wilhelmina Ann, how are you, Erin? And thanks also to my tipperdoo boyfriend, Vito, and OCN. I'm going to call you OCN, both of whom use the YouTube thanks button located just below this screen. I'd also like to send out a huge, heartfelt thank you to a couple of other tipperdoers whose names got lost because, well, I'm an idiot. Doesn't make me any less grateful. And if you tell me who you are in the comments down below, I will correct the situation. Problem is, I think I write the names down and then I realize I didn't because I'm stupid. Whatever. I also want to welcome back to the Fingerdoo family on Patreon one of my OG queens, Jennifer Spain Green. Hey, JSG. Hope you're doing well. Seriously. Finally, I got some mail. Thanks to Nick Sweet, who sent me this fabulous Christmas card. Listen to me. This is a fabulous little Happy Halloween card. And in it, there were some gorgeous, they're in the envelope, gorgeous peanut stickers with Charlie Brown and Snoopy and all the gang. Also, thanks to another Patreoner princess, Martha Grunwald, who sent me this little Halloween care package. There was the Chucky palette from Glamlight. There was also a lipstick from Creature Cosmetics and these fabulous little rhinestone skeletons. That's all. Just look at them. They're so gorgeous. They're like dancing on my earlobes. Woo! Anyway, I want to thank you as well, Martha. Seriously. If you want to see how I put all this look together, I will be having a drag queen approved video coming up on this. Is it drag queen approved? We have to have two. Of course, I also want to send a shout out to Denise Journeau, my fabulous wig whisperer, and Aunt B for the claws. Thanks, dolls. Seriously. Okay. Jorge TV. Oh, look at this. Oh, what a beautiful cut. It's very big. What's in it? Don't tell me. I'm going to sip it. Red Zinger, Tabasco, and gin. What do you call it? The Blanche Devereaux. Okay, I can see that. And as supportive as Kara was by telling Miss Vicky to enjoy the win, she was still here to compete and advised Vicky Vivacious not to get used to it. Ooh! And can I just take a moment to appreciate how stunning Miss Naomi Carter's makeup is? Seriously! If she were any more beat, we'd have to call 911, but I digress. There was a weird moment in the workroom where Ginger Johnson called out Dee Delicious for being shady towards a little Polish girl, Alexis St. Pete, by telling her that she'd done badly. But then, as Caramel pointed out, well, so did everyone else. Plus, at the end of the day, Alexis scored higher with the judges than Dee Dee did. So what's to complain about? The next day in the workroom, Vicky very demurely wore her fresh out of the package Rue Peter badge. Everyone oohed. Dee Dee was still feeling a certain way about lumping Alexis in the bottom with her. She was probably worried about backlash from the online community. I don't know. We're not close. But before we could get into it, there was Rue with this week's mini challenge. Let the cat out of the bag. What's a mini challenge without a member of the Brit crew? Well, that's a mini challenge I don't want to know about. That's Liam. Everyone say hi, Liam. Hi. And what's a member of the Brit crew without a bag? A big red one. You know, the kind you need two hands to get. Sorry, what was I saying? Mini challenge. Yes, so this was like musical chairs, but with accessories. The queens had to pass around Liam's reticule, and whomever was left holding it when the music stopped had to take out the smaller purse within and read the cat pun attached. Once read, the lucky queen had to assign the saying and the purse to one of the other queens. Well, I thought that sounded awful. What if those bags were ugly? Well, not Liam's. Kate Butch was the first queen left holding the bag when the music stopped. She pulled out this little number with the tag hysterical. Kate now had to give the bag to the queen she thought was the funniest. She chose Banksy. Based on Caramel's face here, I don't think she agreed. Am I the only one who sees it? The next purse was bagged by Dee Delicious. Her tag said feral, which meant she had to give the purse to the queen she thought was most likely to start a cat fight. Without hesitation, Dee chose Caramel. although smartly she did leave a little distance between them. Vicky got the next purse with the tag Catletic. It sounds like Rue wrote these. Of course, Catletic referred to the queen with the most bangin' bod. Vicky felt that was Tamara. So did everyone else. Well, except for Kate Butch. There's always one. Ginger was the next one left holding the bag, and the little purse she revealed had the tag perfect, which was meant to represent the queen whose drag isn't as perfect as she thinks. Ginger felt that honor should go to none other than Delicious. I thought she took it pretty well. The last bag to be opened landed on Tamara Thomas, and what did the last bag's tag say? Winner! Apparently, Tamara was the winner, and what did she win? Well, after a quick peek in that little blue wallet purse, Tamara had won the Lucky Chew toy. Okay, I agree that it was a toy, but I don't think this one's supposed to go in your mouth. And why was this toy lucky? Well, this week's mini challenge was an unconventional material sewing challenge. The queens had to make haute couture out of, well, less than fashionable piles of pet supplies. And because Tamara had the lucky toy, she got to pre-select one item. And she got to pick a queen to join her. Well, everyone thought she was going to pick her roommate Caramel, especially Caramel. But no, she picked Delicious. Why? Well, I think Dee whispering who was going to help Tamara with her own outfit had something to do with it. Tamara can't sew, so that seemed reasonable to me. Who it didn't seem reasonable with was her roommate Caramel, who can also sew. Look at that face. She's not happy. I think Tamara's going to have to move or learn to sleep with one eye open. But for now, Tamara's eyes were on the pet supplies, weighing her choices. And what tipped her scales, you ask? A bird cage full of easy-to-sew pink feathers, which I think is more of a craft supply. I mean, what pet needs pink feathers? Well, you do not own a flamingo. Dee, on the other hand, went the safer route and nabbed a good bit of tigery fun fur, which I think was meant to be more set dressing than unconventional item. Whatever. As for the rest of the queens, it was the usual calm, collected, and friendly moment of everyone getting a good chance to mull over their options. Not! I'm surprised lives weren't lost. I'm also surprised no one grabbed the big pink horse. You heard me. Later in the workroom, while Dee was more than happy to help Tamara as best she could, she made it very clear that it was still a competition and she would be focusing on her own outfit first. I must say, after seeing some of the things she made for Crystal Versace, I was left with one question. Who was responsible for that cardboard collar from last week? Oh! We also learned, while Caramel was talking to Miss Naomi, that she went to fashion school. How did Tamara not know this? It makes me wonder how long they've been roommates. Seriously. Rue dropped in to check on the queen's designs, and she didn't come alone. She brought extra special guest, the editor-in-chief of British Vogue, Edward Enninful. And because of this week's Maxi Challenge theme, his fur baby, Rue. Apparently, she's as big a bitch as her namesake. Yeah, right. Not only did I love that Caramel knew who Edward Enninful was, but she reacted like Beyonce had entered the building. Go ahead, tell her she hasn't. Which made the whole Tamara not picking Cara for the Maxi Challenge bonus thing being brought up in front of Mr. Enninful all the more embarrassing for Caramel. I blame Rue. She's the one who brought it up in the first place, much to Cara's chagrin. They were having a lovely chat, the four of them, and then Rue dumped that on the table. Of course, Tamara went above and beyond trying to justify picking another queen over her roommate without hurting Cara's feelings. But, to be honest, I feel she just made everything worse. I mean, I get that Tamara wanted to pick another northern queen, but even if Dee saved Tamara's life or helped her bury a body, Tamara still has to live with Caramel. Live being the operative word. Oh! As the queens got back to work, the little Polish girl Alexis St. Pete was rethinking her original plan. After seeing her body-revealing dance design, Rue wanted to know what else Alexis was bringing to the competition. Apparently, so did Alexis. Her new plan involved her making a gown, something she'd never made before. Kind of explains why she doesn't wear them either. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with Alexis's style or aesthetic. I do understand what Rue's saying about showing the judges something different, but I don't feel an unconventional sewing material challenge is the place to do it. Go with your strength, stick the landing, and do glamour next week. Seriously, why do these queens make it so hard? Cara was still feeling salty over the embarrassment of arguing with Tamara in front of Edward in full, and rightly so. She felt undermined by Tamara claiming she's never seen anything she's sewn, and then challenged her in front of Rue and Edward by asking for examples. As mad as Cara was over the situation, Tamara didn't understand why. She just stuck by her guns, saying if she's never seen her sew a dress, she's never seen her sew a dress. I'm sorry, how long has she been living with Cara? A week? The bottom line was that Cara didn't understand why her roommate would embarrass her like that. Here's what I don't understand. Why isn't Cara seeing any of this as strategy? Caramel is a force to be reckoned with. She entered that workroom already beating out most of these queens in local contests. You don't think that's going to put a target on her back? Now, I like Tamara Thomas. She seems like fun, but this is a competition, and when push comes to shove, my money will be on Tamara to fight dirty. I'd like to say that this is all part of Tamara's elaborate plan to be the last queen standing, but I just don't think she's that smart. Just me. The next day, as the queens were putting the finishing touches on their runway looks, the little Polish girl, Alexis St. Pete, thought she could distract the judges from seeing how rough her runway was by creating a backstory that her fish had died. I'm thinking she thought if the judges were crying, they wouldn't be able to see the mistakes. Personally, I would have taken the time she spent working on that fishbowl and fixed the damn dress. Seriously. I knew Miss Naomi Carter was in trouble when the words pussy strap came out of her mouth. I thought she meant pussy strip, which I assumed involved waxing, but no. She said what she said, and if I wasn't worried then, I'd lost all hope for Miss Naomi Carter when I saw that. Kind of makes you long for Lala's bags. And then it was time for the runway. Rue was looking extra glamorous in this black velvet and Christmas ornament number. I liked it very much. Michelle was looking somber in a neutral jacket, although it was sequined, and Graham Norton was looking like a very sexy gay mountain man with that rough, unshaven chin. And joining the judges this week, the gorgeous star of the Netflix series Heartstopper and the upcoming Doctor Who, Yasmin Finney. Category is Catwalk Couture. Why am I talking like that? First up was Kate Butch in her patchwork faux fur. I have to say, not only did I like this outfit, I thought it was very The Flintstones Go to Paris, but I also liked her in it. Look at that little figure. Where's she been hiding that? Fingerdoo for Miss Butch. Next up was Caramel. Sweet beats, but that girl could sell burlap to Chanel. She looked gorgeous from the hips up anyway. Now, I didn't hate the skirt of this dress. The color was okay, but it just looked like an afterthought. Clearly, Cara ran out of time. Figure don't for Miss Mel. My fave look of the night was next. Not only was Banksy's runway to die for, but that mug. Oh my God, she beat herself all the way back to the 60s. Twiggy wishes is all I'm saying. Figure do for Banksy. Seriously. Next down the catwalk was Ginger Johnson. And that wig. I'm going to be honest. This wig distracted me so much I couldn't tell you what Ginger was wearing. She said she was serving Jem and the hologram straight from the roller derby. I'm assuming they lost their bout. I thought Graham was closer to the mark when he said Toya Wilcox. This is singer Toya Wilcox. All this wig nonsense aside, I thought Ginger's pink snakeskin mini trench was cute, so I gave it a finger do. But that wig. That little Polish girl, Alexis St. Pete, was next, and off the top, I thought she looked good, until I had a good look. The symmetry of that dress front was off, and that slit, what did you call me? I mean, why bother having that dress closed at all? Don't get me wrong, I like Alexis, and I think she's beautiful, but she's definitely not a sewer, bless. Finger don't for the little Polish girl, no. Now, I'm still not sure what Miss Naomi Carter was selling, but let me tell you, I wasn't buying. This was hideous. The bra was lopsided, the skirt was more of a butt sling, and that so-called pussy strap wasn't helping anyone. The only thing I liked about this outfit was the color. Oh, I still gave it a finger don't. I have to give it to Dee Delicious coming down that runway in more fabric-covered cardboard. Did she learn nothing from that red dress with the collar? Maybe it was the animal print. Maybe it was her doggy in the vet cone. Either way, I like this look enough to give it a Fingerdoo. Good for Dee Dee. The best thing about Tamara Thomas's runway were those big pink feathers against that yellow fabric. She even matched her makeup to it. I only wish she'd had a bit more skirt on her derriere. Not that there's anything wrong with her derriere. I just think some things should remain secret. Shh. I love Michael Maruli's runway. My only complaint was that I wish she'd lined the hood. I hate it when the wrong side of printed fabric is visible from the audience. It always looks white and it distracts me. Still, Fingerdoo for Ms. Maruli. Bringing up the rear beautifully was Vicky Vivacious, and I don't think there was anything more she could have done to make this Barbie-esque ensemble any better. It was a pink cavalcade of stars that I couldn't help but give a Fingerdoo to. Seriously. When it was all said and done, Ru told Kate Butch, Ginger Johnson, Michael Maruli, and Vicky Vivacious that they were all safe, so they frigged off to the workroom. As for the rest of the queens, Banksy's black and white handkerchief creation was a huge hit across the board. Michelle couldn't say enough about her. As I predicted, the judges loved Caramel from the hips up, but like me, they all felt her skirt held her back. Yasmin Finney, on the other hand, was all about Caramel's face and needed to know what setting powder she uses. I use Airspun. Alexis St. Pete was next, and it was clear right off that her runway wasn't the judge's favorite. Michelle thought she sold the hell out of this look, but at the end of the day, her slit was too long. If I had a nickel. And Ru felt there were just too many little things that kept Alexis's runway from being great, bless. Miss Naomi Carter was another runway that the judges weren't a fan of, but they all agreed that she sold the hell out of it. It's just that there was no coming back from that front bum thong situation. Is there ever? Dee Dee Licious was another queen the judges just loved. Everyone was impressed, not only by her outfit, but also by how well she sold it down the catwalk. Tamara Thomas surprised everyone by getting positive critiques from the judges. Graham Norton admitted that her look was everything you're not supposed to do during a sewing challenge. But it worked. The yellow and pink together, the proportions. Michelle did admit that she'd like to not see Tamara's butt just one time on the runway, though. Speak for yourself, Michelle. Of course, Ru brought up the confrontation between Cara and Tamara that happened in the workroom. I'm not sure if both queens had a come-to-Jesus moment off camera or they were just trying to save face in front of Ru, but they both apologized for their behavior and seemed to smooth everything out. I still think someone's moving. Back in the workroom, the safe queens were thanking their lucky stars for making it through a sewing challenge, but both Kate Butch and Ginger Johnson thought their looks were just that titchy touch better than safe. But the rest of the queens arrived before they could get into it. Right away, they let it be known that Banksy, Dee Dee, and Tamara were in the top, and, well, no one seemed to have a problem with it. Of course, the little Polish girl Alexis St. Pete was sure she was going to be lip-syncing this week, as was Ms. Naomi Carter. But, truth be told, I thought Miss Carter was taking the news a bit better than Alexis. Someone who was not taking her critique well was poor Caramel. Clearly, it had been a tough week for Ms. Mel. Back on the main stage, Ru announced that this week's winner was Banksy. Here's to Banksy, seriously. So well deserved. And as expected, Alexis and Naomi were this week's bottom two queens, much to Caramel's relief. Alexis and Naomi had to lip sync to Hot In It by Tiesto and Charlie XCX. Right out of the gate, I knew Naomi was going to have a better time with this lip sync. Her outfit didn't restrict her movements, even with that strappy crotch situation. And yes, strappy crotch was my drag queen name in high school. I don't think that Alexis did a bad job. She kept up with Naomi move for move, but after rolling around on the floor, Alexis's shoe got caught in her dress. She handled it smoothly, but Ru noticed, and that didn't bode well. So, when the music died, it was Ms. Naomi Carter who shantaed, and as sad as I was to see her go, it was the little Polish girl Alexis St. Pete who sashayed away. Well, what do you think? Was Alexis done wrong, or are you surprised she lasted this long? Personally, I would have liked to see a little bit more from her, but I'm not surprised that she sashayed. How about Ms. Naomi Carter? Was that outfit bad enough to send her home? Did she dodge a huge bullet this week? And what about Caramel? Did she let Tamara psych her out? Was this a wake-up call, or is she possibly not the powerhouse who walked into that workroom on day one? Speaking of Tamara, should she be looking for a new roommate? All we can do is tune into RuPaul's Drag Race UK next week to see how it all plays out, and when you're done, you come on back and you see me so you and I can compare notes. Now, before you go, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and there are links in the description box for leaving a tip or do, joining the Fingerdoo family on Patreon, or getting your own Wilma merch from my Redbubble store. And while you're down there, please leave a comment. I love chatting with y'all. Until next time, this me. Mwah. Seriously. Oh, such drama this week. Seriously, how could Tamara sit in a room with her roommate and say, I didn't know you sewed, or I'd never seen you sew? Does Kara not sew at home? Maybe they live in a really small place and she goes somewhere else to sew. I used to go somewhere else to sew. Hell! Oh, that's not true. But, oh, yeah, it's just weird. That's just weird. I'm trying to think of a situation where you wouldn't know that your roommate did something. Ooh, maybe Kara has a spot.